disappointed that we didn't get the NAT team here, because I would like to have heard their side of it. Because some of the things that are being alleged are pretty nasty, and for people to say it didn't happen and then have the lady in the wheelchair come up here, first she didn't exist, according to one of the articles. Nobody ever pointed a gun because they don't have guns. Or there were paintball guns and there were talcum powder guns. And it just doesn't wash, and I'm disappointed that we didn't get something other than the information Deputy Farrell read. There was a comment on April 24th in the Journal. Apparently, Deputy Farrell was critical of some of the people here implying that they're lawless and they want their own way. I would like to have heard an explanation for that comment. That was something to do with people having things on their property and that the county's going up cleaning up properties. I really think a lot of people moved out here so they could do what they want to do on their property within reason. We don't advocate anybody burning tires. And the other thing is that county agencies have become judge, jury, and executioner. And, you know, these $1,000 a day fines, whether they're imposed or they're not. We had a guy come up here and say he's living in his car. He lost his home, got levied against and all that. Is it true? Apparently it's true to him, so it would be nice to hear the other side of that argument. And we have a situation with anonymous calls. The thing just doesn't wash, and I'm really disappointed, and I hope that county council would look at this whole situation and say, you know what, we really need to defend ourselves by getting up here and telling the public what really goes on. Another thing is we have sheriffs saying that people that live in trailers are a big problem. Apparently there's a lot of snipers living in trailers all over the place, although I've only heard of one incident, that was years back. I would really be interested in hearing the other side of the Betty McGee story, because for the people, the neighbors that saw it, and the woman herself and her daughter, it's very real and very true. And I would really like to hear an explanation for that, because if we're being told something that isn't true or less than truthful, we need to make that known to you. That's my...
I guess this is working here. Yeah, you know, I really believe that the reason that the NAT team isn't here tonight is because of the fact that the powers that be in Los Angeles on Temple Street or First Street or whatever it is, they know that what we were saying or what the people had said last month is the truth. And so they're afraid to come here, afraid to be confronted. Now, I had met with an attorney in Palmdale some year and a half ago, and I forget his name, I could get it very easily. And he told me very upfront, he says the council people, all of them down there, look at the people up here as just trash. And I also heard someone mention that one of the people from the regional planning department sitting in the back here, or standing in the back here, last month referred to us as dregs. Oh, here's look at all the dregs here. And you know, if they don't like us, maybe they should just stay in LA. You know, we've been harassed enough, and I think it's about time to say enough is enough. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, we have a spot on the agenda that we're going to use for Q&A for the NAT team, but since they're not here. So how about questions? You got questions that we might be able to answer? If not, we can get the answer and report back to you next month.
Who had drafted the statement that was read by Deputy Farrell. And we all know the county council is a lawyer, an attorney, who's paid by our tax dollars, works for the county, and does the things that good lawyers do. When you hire a lawyer, one of his jobs, part of his duty, is to protect you from legal threats and keep reminders to the county board of supervisors and their agencies from adverse proceedings such as lawsuits. The concern might be that the agents who could come here and talk to us about NAP might just say things that would incriminate the county or their agencies. And the county council saw that, or foresaw the possibility that that might happen, and decided that the best way to mitigate the damages would be to tell them to just don't say anything. That's just a speculative theory about why they weren't here. But that's what it seems to me it might be.
Ms. Jones?
I don't really have much to say this month, but glad to be here.
Thank you, Jamie. Carl?
Well, Deputy Farrell's still here? Oh, is that? Well, I agree with Mr. Cleveland. You don't want people saying things like they said to the town councils, such as Betty McGee doesn't exist. And no one ever pointed a gun at her. Obviously, they couldn't because she doesn't exist. Unfortunately, when she rolled up here in her wheelchair, it appeared that she indeed exists. I don't know how you square with that. Deputy Farrell also makes the assertion in the Country Journal on April 24th that many people who live in trailers create problems, justifying the need for armed law enforcement accompanying and protecting zoning enforcement personnel on that when doing sweeps where a trailer may be on the property. Well, I don't totally disagree that they need some kind of protection when they go to rural areas. As you're well aware, someone was killed a few years ago, going by themselves. But this seems a little bit overkill. And, we've been told that first they had paintball guns and talcum powder. And my suggestion was they use a Jergens lotion gun so they can soften everybody to death. Much more benign. The other thing is that he also pointed out that the Country Journal printed lies in regard to the incident involving the lady in the wheelchair, and that he felt that perhaps she didn't even exist. So I have a problem with that. I really wanted to hear from the NAT team. What do you do? How do you do it? Who's involved? And are these allegations true? In the absence of that information and the advice of the county council, don't do any more damage than you've already done in the newspapers. Perhaps that was a good move, not commenting. That's my view.
Mr. Fidget?
I'd like to thank all of you for attending tonight, and next month, how about each one of you grab one of your neighbors and bring them along with you?
And have them buy a ticket too.
Yes,